Good evening, everyone. I am Raven Kailas Kubalida, and I am here to discuss with you the topic that is all about Judicial Affidavit Rule under Section 9, Application of Rule to Criminal Actions. A. This rule shall apply to all criminal actions. Number 1, where the maximum of the imposable penalty does not exceed 6 years. Number 2, where the accused agrees to the use of judicial affidavits irrespective of the penalty involved, or number 3, with the respect to the civil aspects of the actions, whatever the penalties involved are. The B, the prosecution shall submit the judicial affidavits of its witnesses nor later than the 5 days before the pre-trial. Serving copies if the same upon the accused. The complainant or public prosecutor shall attach to the affidavit such documentary or object evidence as he may have, marking them as exhibits A, B, and C, and so on and so forth. No further judicial affidavit, documentary, or object evidence shall be admitted at the trial. C. If the accused desires to be heard on his defense after a receipt of judicial affidavits of the prosecution, he shall have the option to submit his judicial affidavit as well as those of his witnesses to the court within 10 days from receipt of such affidavits and serve a copy of each on the public and private prosecutor, including his documentary and object evidence previously marked as exhibits 1, 2, and 3, and so on and so forth. These affidavits shall serve as direct testimonies of the accused and his witness when they appear before the court to testify. The 10th section, the section 10 of the Judicial Affidavit Rule, entitled the as effect of non-compliance with the Judicial Affidavit Rule. A. A party who fails to submit the required judicial affidavits and exhibits on time shall be deemed to have waived their submission. The court may, however, allow only one once the late submission of the same, provided the delay is for a valid reason, would not unduly prejudice the opposing party, and the defaulting party pays a fine of not less than 1,000 nor more than 5,000 pesos at the discretion of the court. B. The court shall not consider the affidavit of any witness who fails to appear at the scheduled hearing of the case as required. Counsel who fails to appear without a valid cause, despite notice, shall be deemed to have waived his client's right to confront by cross-examination the witnesses there present. The C. The court shall not admit as evidence judicial affidavits that do not conform to the content requirements of Section 3 and the attestation requirement of Section 4 above. The court may, however, allow only once the subsequent submission of the compliant replacement affidavits before the hearing or trial, provided the delay is for a valid reason and would not unduly prejudice the opposing party, and provided further the public or private counsel responsible for their preparation and submission pays a fine not less than 1,000 pesos nor more than 5,000 pesos at the discretion of the court. The 11th section of Judicial Affidavit Rule. Section 11 is titled Repeal or Modification of Inconsistent Rules. The provisions of the rules of the court and the rules of procedure governing the investigating officers and bodies authorized by the Supreme Court to receive evidence are repealed or modified insofar as these are inconsistent with the provisions of this rule. The rules of procedure governing quasi-judicial bodies inconsistent herewith are hereby disapproved. Section 12. It is the effectivity of the Judicial Affidavit Rule. This rule shall take effect on January 1, 2013, following its publication in two newspapers of general circulation not later than September 15, 2012. It shall apply to existing cases. So, the section, the Judicial Affidavit Rule, which are the section 9 to 12, I will generalize the titles. Section 9 is entitled The Application of Rule to Criminal Actions. The Section 10 is entitled Effect of Non-Compliance with the Judicial Affidavit Rule. The Section 11 is the repeal or modification of inconsistent rules. And lastly, the Section 12 is the effectivity of the Judicial Affidavit Rule, which the effectivity is January 1, 2013. And its publication was publicated into two newspaper of general circulation not later than September 15, 2012. That is all. I thank you.